Good afternoon, everybody. My name is Julie Watkins, and I'll be helping with today's Travelogue brought to you by the Geographic Society of Chicago. Since 1898, the Geographic Society of Chicago has educated the public about geography and its important uses. Today's GSC trains students in the latest geospatial technology. Through services such as our community mapping projects, we offer unique educational experiences that harness the power of maps and the integrative tools of GIS. All in which to solve environmental and community issues. Together, our board and membership provide education opportunities for students and educators, assist in building geographic materials collections in educational and cultural institutions, promote new and emerging technologies in problem solving, and much more. If you're familiar with our Travelogue series, you know that we normally conduct these presentations in person each month at the Chicago Cultural Center. While we can't get together physically at the moment, the GSC wanted to remain connected with its members and supporters, so we've turned our Travelogue series into webinars, at least until we get back into a new state of normal. Please make sure to share any feedback you have with us at the end of this Travelogue. With us to present today is Debbie Norton. Debbie will share her experiences searching for wild animals in a safari truck, touring the aerial cableway in the mountains of Magaliesberg, a visit to the Lion and Safari State Park, Pilanesberg National Park, and Cape Town's Victoria and Alfred Waterfront. You will also hear her stories from Table Mountain, Boulder Beach, and share her experiences at all of the stunning wineries she visited in South Africa. Before we begin, let me note that we will have a question and answer period following Debbie's presentation. So if you look at your screen, you will see that there's a Q&A button at the bottom. So anytime you have a question for Debbie, go ahead and type it in that window and we will address it at the end at during our Q&A section. With that, I will pass things over to Debbie for today's presentation.
Well, hello, everybody. Thank you for joining in, and I'm excited to share our adventures with you. Going to safari has always been on my bucket list, and so about 3 years ago my husband and I decided to get serious about making it happen, and so we started doing a lot of research and ended up where we went to South Africa. And we did safari and Cape Town and some sites in Johannesburg. So I will be sharing all of that with you today. So we flew from O'Hare to Amsterdam, and then from Amsterdam we flew down to Johannesburg, and it was I think about 8 hours to Amsterdam, and then another 10 hours to Joburg, as the locals call it. So we stayed overnight at a hotel by the airport, and then the next morning, our tour guide here, Thabo, he came and scooped us up, and he took us in a minivan, which is where the kind of vehicle we used the whole trip. And we were joined by another family of 3. So there was 5 guests together in this minivan, and which was really nice. It kept things really intimate, and you can ask all kinds of questions of the tour guide. And it just so happened that our people that we shared the vehicle with were from Indonesia. So it was a lot of fun learning about their stuff too. So Thabo drove us then directly to the Sogon Vela Nature Reserve. And it was about a 3-hour drive. And the reserve is about 189 square miles. It's malaria free. So we did not have to do any kind of vaccines, or actually for the whole trip, we did not have to do any kind of special vaccines or treatments prior to going. So this is where we were arriving at the reserve. This is just the scenery, the kind of scenery we had. And at the checkpoint, there was like a little house that you checked in, and then Tandy came along in the safari Jeep, and she was our game ranger for the time that we stayed at the Sogon Vela Reserve. And so then she drove us into the Humala River Lodge, which is where we stayed for 3 or 4 nights. And it is springtime. We went in November of 2019, and their seasons are opposite of ours here in the Chicago area. So it was springtime there, and it hadn't rained. The rains hadn't really started quite yet, so it was a little dry, but it was very pleasant. And she drove us in about 45 minutes on this Jeep to the Humala River Lodge. And this is kind of some of the scenery that we saw along the way. This is the Humala River Lodge. This is the main common area where you could sit and read or play a game or whatever. They also had a little bar area there. And this is where we ate our meals, breakfast, lunch, and dinner. And just the views were spectacular. And you'd see a giraffe out in the distance walking by, and we're perched up a little bit. So it had really nice views. The lodging that we stayed in were these little thatch roofed tents. So the sides of the structure are canvas with the zip out windows, and the front of it was all glass with a glass door, and then you see the little porch. This is what the inside of our tent looked like. It was extremely comfortable, and it had a really cool outdoor shower. And just nothing like taking a shower and having that beautiful view right there. So this is, we're going out to our first safari game drive with Tandy. Tandy was our driver the whole time. And we came across some giraffes pretty quickly. So it was very exciting, and they were very, very close up. I was using a Lumix camera that had a 25 to 600 millimeter lens zoom. And I also shot some of this with my iPhone. But a lot of the closer up shots I had with the Lumix camera, which I bought specifically for this trip. And it worked out really nice. I meant to tell you, the Humalo River Lodge only has 10 of those tents. So there's really no more than 20 guests ever there at the same time. And we had the whole 189 square mile Sogon Villa Reserve to ourselves, which was quite nice. So this is the landscape. Giraffes were very, very prevalent there. We saw a lot of them. And here's some more of the scenery. And then on every game drive, the game drives would last about 2.5 hours, maybe 3. And they took us out in these vehicles, and partway through, like halfway through, they would stop. And in the morning, we did all our game drives really early in the morning. Our wake-up call was 4:30. Coffee in the main common room at 5, and then we're off by 5:30 a.m. to start seeing the animals. They're most active at dusk and dawn, so that's when we did the game drives. So on our little break, it gave you a minute to stretch your legs, and then they would, in the morning, serve you coffee or tea and some muffins. And then in the evening game drives, they would do what they called a sundowner. So it's like happy hour, and you'd have a glass of wine or a soda, or a gin and tonic is really, really popular there too. So here's our sunrise. I believe this was the morning. And just, you know, beautiful savanna type landscape with the mountains. And it's just us and nature. It was just fabulous. And on the Sogon Vela Nature Reserve, there's a bridge. This bridge was built specifically for the movie, The Ghost in the Darkness. That movie was a historical adventure film, and it starred Val Kilmer and Michael Douglas. So we went over that bridge several times while we were there. And there's the river that the bridge is going over. Oh, so that was a sunset prior. So this is our first morning going out. And the skies opened up and it just was pouring. And so we all took a vote and decided, let's go back to the lodge and wait it out and let the rain do its thing and try it again later in a couple hours, which is exactly what we did. So this is more like late morning that we were out. And yeah, the giraffes just crossing the little road there. And all kinds of, the top right is a kudu. And you can just see there, one of the interesting things about this reserve is that because there's only the three game vehicles and just the 20 people a week. So these animals, they stop when you're coming by, they stop and they're staring at you like, who are you? What are you? As opposed to some of the larger, heavily populated reserves where the vehicles don't even faze the animals. They don't even look up. So it was really nice for pictures because they were oftentimes just staring right at us. There's some wildebeest and another kudu. In the bottom right are some guinea hens. And that's my husband taking in the view. And this is a little video of like the scenery on the reserve. And you can just see beauty and nature everywhere. Just really awesome. And once the rain started, then it was kind of cool to just watch everything green up in just a matter of a day or two. Those are eland and some more zebra. See, it's already, you can see the green, just that little bit of rain just got things really going. And this is, they call it Elephant Alley. And the elephants come out of the mountains there more we didn't see elephants at Sogon Vela because it was too soon. They were still like over the mountain range. But this is where they come through and kind of come into the plains in the summertime. And it's just more of our being out in the reserve. This is one of our game rangers I'm sure he was trying to spy some animals for us. And they had this like wild aloe was all over the place, really nice. And then, so in the early morning, they take you out. And then when you come back from the game reserve, they served us brunch. So we had a nice, hearty brunch. and then you were free to do whatever you wanted until the evening game reserve. So they had a pool, and you can just shower, relax, take a nap, read a book, take a walk, whatever you wanted to do. So this is some more of our game drives. This is the Cape Buffalo. They are one of the big five. So the big five animals are the lion, the leopard, the rhino, the elephant, and the African buffalo. These are known to be the most dangerous and difficult to hunt. So that's how they came up with the big five. This is one of my favorite photos that I took there. Just think it's really pretty. And see how they're looking at you. They're always just looking right at you. Makes great photographs. And then just some more giraffes on the plains. They were beautiful. This is an interesting one. It's a mother and a baby. On the left picture, you see the baby all the way to the left. And in the middle, they were quite far away. So I got this picture with my 600 zoom. And I did not see that warthog in the picture until I came home from my trip and I put my pictures on a big screen. And I'm like, oh my goodness, look at that little warthog sneaking in there. So I thought that was really cute. And the baby, she was just 2 days old, she or he. The interesting Tandy, our game ranger, was telling us that the animals can hold their babies until it's a good time for them to deliver. So in this scenario, there wasn't enough foliage because there wasn't enough rain. They were about a month behind in rain. So this little bit of rain that we did get that second day we were there, here we have a baby. So she's so cute. And this is just more of our beautiful views. And then in the one evening, they brought in the Swaziland Dancers. And one of the main traditions of the Swazi people is dancing. So these children, and I didn't get any really good pictures of them because it was so dark, but they were from probably maybe 6 years old to teenagers. And they just did a nice little performance for us. And then afterwards, they gave us nice, all the little ones gave us hugs, and just warm people. And they send the children after school to practice every day. And that helps keep them from getting into trouble too. So, and it keeps their culture going. So, so here we're leaving the Humala River Lodge. And so that is all of us with some of the other people that were staying there as well. And of course, our game ranger, Tandy. And then here we're just doing that 45-minute drive out from Humala Lodge back to the main gate. And of course, they're saying goodbye to us, these wonderful giraffes. And I'm saying goodbye to Tandy. So she was a very, very knowledgeable, sweet, wonderful person. I'm very blessed to have met her. So from there, we met up with Thabo again, and he drove us back to the Johannesburg area. And we had some activities going there. So just wanted to show you, they've got beautiful highways there. Very, very, very nice. And off in the distances, and I didn't know I was going to be doing this presentation when I was on this trip, So I would have taken other pictures of other things had I known that to share with you, but I'll just have to tell you about it. So this is just, there's a Dutch influence in South Africa. The Dutch Calvinist settlers arrived in 1652. And so you'll see in a lot of the architecture, Dutch influence there. And then off the highways, everywhere you look, there's mines, lots and lots of mines. And they mine, it's a mainstay for them, mining is, and for their economy. And they mine gold, diamonds, platinum, coal, chrome, titanium. It's incredible how many mines you see out there. And then they have shanty town, lots of shanty towns. And it's just, you know, what daily life looks like where the shanty towns are. So from there, we went to the Hardy's cableway, and it's a 1.2 kilometer cableway that goes to the top of the mountains, and then you've got these beautiful views of the Hartbeespoort Dam, and all around 365-degree view. It was amazing, and a really pretty day. And so we just took a lot of pictures and took in the scenery. And this just was a really nice day. Temperatures were very, very pleasant. And then they had a restaurant at the top that you could sit and, you know, enjoy the view and have a bite to eat, which we did. So after that, we went to the Lion Park. And in the Lion Park, they had like a bus that was open. It was like a cage that went around. So you were caged in this bus, and it was all open, but it was a cage. And so you could take really great pictures from the bus, and they drove like right by these animals. Like these lions here, they were probably no more than 20 feet away from us. And there's some babies, and they were very cute. And the park also had hyenas and leopards. So we got to see them. Then we went to Pilanesberg National Park. That was another day. And that day we had a choice to either, you could drive through this park yourself in your own vehicle. So Thabo could have driven us through, or you could opt to take like a safari truck and go through on that. So with one of the Pilanesberg park rangers. So that's what we opted to do. But you can see they had a lot of, not sure if those, I think those are springback. I'm not really good on my hooved animals. Here we got the hippo. Somebody pointed out it was really far away. So again, my zoom, I didn't even really see what I was taking a picture of until I got home again. And they said it was one hippo and a baby. But now that I'm looking at this picture, I think there might have been two babies. I don't know. What do you think? And that's the impala and a warthog. They're so cute, aren't they? And then we got to see the rhino and the elephant. We had elephants at Pilanesberg. they have all of the big five there, whereas Sogon Vela does not have any lions. Here they have all five. And so we just had to kind of wait it out until the elephant decided to duck in wherever he wanted to duck in and get off the road. So I thought that was kind of interesting. And just some more of the animals at Pilanesberg. I think this picture on the left is so cute. It makes me chuckle every time I see it. And then you had the rhino pair there. And then some interesting birds. I don't know what they are, but they're kind of cool. And we got the Humala again and these little monkeys. And then we saw the grouping of the elephants going by and the baby. So that was our first to see the elephants, which was really cool. And then there was the pride of lions. They were super far away. So this is the best shot I could get with my 600 lens. But they were all there. It was pretty hot out that day. So they were just hanging out in the shade, taking it easy. I don't know how this picture ended up here, but this was from the lion park. So this is really cool. When we got off the vehicle, we could go and check out the gift shop and other things they had there. And they also had this interaction that you could do with the lion cubs. So of course I couldn't say no to that. And we probably spent, I'd say, a good 15-20 minutes just hanging out with these guys. And the charge to do it was $5 a person, equivalent of $5 a person. So it was just amazing. So now we're kind of heading back to our hotel, and Thabo pulled over at this market, and we were able to go in and check out the handmade stuff and just really, really beautiful arts and crafts. That evening they had a boma dinner for us. So a boma is that stone surrounding. It's not always made of stone, but this one was made of stone. And its purpose is to keep the wild animals out, so and keep you safe. So that's what that is. And then they do a they do a braai, and it's like what we consider a barbecue, and it's really super popular there. We saw a lot of people doing this, and the difference between the way we do it and they do it is they only use wood. They don't use any charcoal or anything. It's strictly wood. And so then that was our last night in the Johannesburg area, or again, Joburg as the locals call it. So from there, Thabo took us to the airport, and we flew on Kalula airline down to Cape Town. And it was maybe a 2.5 hour flight. So then we hooked up with our new guide, Tony, and I don't have a picture of him here. But Tony then picked us up again in the minivan with the same people that we were with in Johannesburg, and took us to our hotel. So this was like a little apartment and was really nice. And you can see off in the distance is the ocean, and was like maybe 3-4 blocks away from the ocean. And yeah, so that was our accommodations this is our accommodations while we're in Cape Town. When we got there, it was extremely windy, very, very windy. And we went for dinner, and this is the Vna Waterfront. Vna stands for Victoria and Alfred. So it's the Victoria and Alfred Waterfront. It is South America's most visited destination. It is on the harbor, and it is a working harbor. But then they also have the restaurants, shops, entertainment, you name it, it's there. The Table Mountain is in the back, but it's covered by these clouds in this picture, so you can't really see it, but Table Mountain just looms over you there. And they have this beautiful mall, and couple stories, 2 or 3 stories, and all kinds of really, really nice shopping. So again, it's you know, a very visited place. When we were there in November, they were it was all decorated in their traditional South African Christmas holiday decorations. So this is what their decorations look like. And here's some more pictures of their holiday decorations. And the flower on the right is South Africa's national flower, and it's the King Protea. And they're very proud of it, and it is beautiful. And this was just in a bouquet in the mall here, in a flower shop that I just took a picture of the bouquet. Okay, so then the next morning we went to Camps Bay. Camps Bay is about 10 minutes from central Cape Town, and they have beautiful white sand beaches and dozens of hiking trails. It's an affluent suburb, and it's a popular place for celebrities and the rich and famous to go and hang out. They have 5-star boutique hotels and gourmet beachfront restaurants. And we had breakfast overlooking this beach here, and it was delicious and beautiful. So then they took us to the World of Birds. The World of Birds is the largest bird park in Africa. They have over 3,000 birds and some small animals, little monkeys, 400 different species, and they have 100 landscaped walk-through aviaries. So this is just some of the birds that we encountered. There were thousands of them. It's just a pretty place to be. And there's some of the little monkeys. And a little grumpy guy. And from there, then we went to Hout Bay, which is another working harbor. It's a fishing village. So they have like restaurants and then fishermen that bring in their catch, and they're selling them right there, you know, in their markets, probably to restaurants and people. And then from there, we took a boat, and it was a 40-minute boat ride to the seal island, the Duker Island seal colony. So it was pretty choppy, but very pretty. And here's where we went to go see the seals. And then on the way back from there, there's this castle that's just perched up there on top of the Kelberg Mountain that overlooks Hout Bay Harbor. And it's a replica of the Gothic Schloss Liechtenstein Castle in southern Germany. And if you see like a little bit to the right, bottom right of the castle, there's a dragon skeleton. But apparently now it is a private estate. And I think it's not easy to get to. I don't think you can get to it on a road. I think you gotta fly in or helicopter in, something. And here's some of the beautiful white sand beaches that they have. They're just gorgeous. That was going on the way to Boulder Beach. So Boulder Beach is made up of these granite boulders, therefore its name. And it is the home to the African penguin. And there were thousands of them. Very cute little guys. They're nesting, well, girl nesting. And they have these walkways that keep the penguins protected and allows you to go from one part of the beach to the other to see all of the penguins. Okay, after that we went to Cape Point. So we were told by Tony, our guide, before we got out of the car, he's like, do not feed the baboons. Number one, it's against the law. Number two, you can get hurt because they're very aggressive. And these baboons there were a lot of them. They were jumping on cars and it was kind of crazy. So this is at the top of Cape Point, and they have really pretty flowers, and it's very windy. Cape Point is where the Atlantic and the Indian Oceans meet, and it is the windiest place in South Africa. And the average wind speed is 15 miles an hour. And this is the harbor where their Navy ships are. And then they took us to Blanco for dinner, and we had a private room. And the food, that's another thing. I would have taken pictures of food to show you, but I didn't take pictures of food. The food was amazing. It was delicious. Cape Town food was fabulous. They serve a lot of wild game, and we tried some. And some of it, kudu, actually was quite good. But a very, very cosmopolitan area. So they've got everything. So there you have Table Mountain. Table Mountain is the most iconic landmark of South Africa. It's, what the Eiffel Tower is to France, Table Mountain is to South Africa. The flat top peak is 11,689 feet above sea level. And because it's so close to the